of at least 1 centimeter of snow on the ground at Pearson. So we want to hear from you. How many days? How long do you think that will last? You can send us a message on Twitter or on Facebook, and Kasia Bodurka will be in later and sharing some of your comments. Let's talk about those temperatures. Was it ever beautiful out on Friday? We had a high of 9.8 in Toronto, sunshine. It was feeling very spring-like. Those southerly winds ushering in that warmer air, well, now they are gone. We're seeing that coming from the northwest. That cold Arctic air is pushing back in. So if you're heading out this weekend, you will need those layers on. Those wind chills are back. Maybe you're looking for some fun. Natalie Thomas is at the motorcycle show.
Nothing says spring like the Motorcycle Spring Show. It is on all weekend here at the International Centre in Toronto. Jason, for more details on when we're going to warm up, we'll send things inside to the studio.
Thanks for that, Natalie. Well, not at least for the weekend, but as we head towards Wednesday, we're expecting a high of 4 for St. Paddy's Day. Still cold, -5 and sunshine. Just the two of us pulling that big bus?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so.
I'd like to see that. It is going to be cold, so if you are heading out there this evening, bundle up, feeling into the minus teens once again when we do factor in the wind chill.
Do have some winds on the way, of course, with that wind chill. Sustained between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour for this evening. The good news as we get into tomorrow, high pressure slides into place, so that's going to calm those winds. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow, Michelle, but that's not the big story of tomorrow. The big story is the cold.
Yes, the cold, it's back. Yesterday was feeling great, beautiful weather. We're back to feeling more like -15, even for Monday, St. Paddy's Day, -5. That will be your daytime high, but it's going to feel more like -11.
That's right. We do have temperatures on the rise a little bit, but still for the end of the week below seasonal, below where we should be. Tuesday across the country, still looking at some active weather for the coast of BC. A little bit of a system that's going to push into parts of southern and central Ontario. And finally, we get a break out east with some gusty conditions.
And we are watching that system that you mentioned Tuesday into Wednesday because we are expecting some messy weather for us in the GTA as temperatures are going to hover right around 4 degrees.
I'm spent, he says. I wanted to mention, I ran into a guy on a fat bike like that during our snowstorm back on Wednesday in southern Ontario. But the funny thing is that he had goggles on because, of course, the snow was going horizontal that day. It was hilarious, actually. All right. Hi, if you're out there. We have cold conditions set up for us Sunday. More snow. So goggles out there, yeah, in Newfoundland, in Labrador on Sunday, but everybody else just cooler conditions and behind that. And on Monday, still a little bit northern regions of Labrador. Ontario, Toronto, I want to take you there on Friday. What a relief it was. So Thursday and then Friday, 10 degrees. It was so moody, the weather, up and down, right? And now temperatures are falling in behind this system. So yeah, this is the system that brought precipitation to you in the Maritime provinces, still through the overnight and tomorrow morning for you in Newfoundland. But notice how that's your cold front. Temperature is getting much cooler, and behind that you're seeing the purples. The purples are back on the map, and if you watch us a lot, you know purple means cold. So overnight lows around -15, feeling much colder. In fact, the city of Toronto has a cold weather alert, so stay on the inside if you possibly can. High pressure in place, and that means any warmth that we did generate throughout the day, it just escapes because there's no insulation with cloud cover. Our next weather maker in behind it, northwestern Ontario on Monday, and it won't be affecting us until your Tuesday, late day, even in your Wednesday. So here's a look at your long-range forecast if you are in Barrie. -12 tomorrow. For 2012, it was 22 degrees. It felt like 27 degrees. Isn't that amazing? It's not normal, though, unfortunately. I wish it was, personally. But here's a little bit of a reality check. If you do live in Vancouver, it's going to be a nice and seasonal day. Actually, we've got sunshine in the forecast, or at least more settled conditions. For you in Montreal, -8. Toronto, -5. So not 20-degree weather. I want to take your attention now to the fact that we have had a lot of snow, obviously, in southern Ontario. In fact, 97 consecutive days of snow on the ground. That's actually record-breaking, right? So I put it out there on Twitter and I said, what's going to be the final count? What's the final number? Just a friendly bet. So here are some of the responses that I had received. And some of them are sort of sarcastic, to say the least. So beyond the 5 days, it'll be spring, so it'll no longer be a winter record. LOL, he says. So, you know, everybody's got their own opinion about that. But regardless, it's been very snowy. It's been so snowy, in fact, that we have been seeing ice caves along the Great Lakes. So this is one of our top stories now on the weathernetwork.com. I urge you to check it out. There have been some really amazing ice caves that have emerged on Lake Superior. So it's been wowing visitors, and a similar phenomenon had occurred a few weeks ago on Lake Erie, and I had a chance to see it for myself, and it was so neat. And here's a video of the story that I had produced back then. I was just amazed by what I had seen, and it was basically created by really, really cold temperatures and, you know, massive sheets of ice on the Great Lakes. Check it out on the weathernetwork.com, and your weather stories coming up. Also strong winds, or how about extreme wind chills? All of these make up for a nasty winter storm.
Thanks for that, Jacqueline. And we are dealing with winter storm warnings in Atlantic Canada. My name's Michelle Nelson. I'm joined by Kasia Bodurka.
Hello.
Kasia, more active weather other than Atlantic Canada to talk about.
In the west, of course, we have more rain. The rain continues, and we'll get to that story when we focus a little bit more on the west. But now the focus is on the sunshine, but the cooler conditions across the east. But that's come Monday. First, we have to deal with these warnings.
Yes, and we do have a fair bit to tell you about. We have that winter storm warning, as mentioned, what Jacqueline was talking about earlier. Wreck house is included in that, but also blowing snow. And with the wind, that's going to be a huge issue.
Sure. So let's first talk about snowfall amounts that we are expecting by the time it's all said and done. 10 to 25 centimeters of snow through the Wreck house region, southwestern portions of the island. 5 to 10 also along the west coast and the northern peninsula of Newfoundland. But you not only have the snow to deal with, but you have the wind.
Yeah, not the best driving conditions out there. Where we do have those wind warnings in place, that includes Inverness County. We're expecting to see those gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, not so good. Where it was way more settled today. Oh.
But it is cold out there, so if you are heading out, it's not feeling like it did on Friday.
No, glorious day in the city of Toronto, 9.8 degrees. So close to 10, right? Were you out there? Did you get to enjoy it?
I was out there. I went for a few walks because it was so nice, and I also knew that this was coming.
Yeah, so actually we don't have a graphic to show that because the cold front already sliced through southern Ontario. So much cooler. I'm sure you notice the temperature is falling throughout the day, and then high pressure comes into place, and basically that means sunshine.
Yeah, sunshine. So good news, but we do still have that snow on the ground. 97 days and counting.
That's right. Coming up, we have our top 5 snowiest days in Canada.
Go to theweathernetwork.com.
You know, it's always nice to be recognized, but to be on a list like that, I'm sure you'd all agree with me. It's okay that we didn't make the cut. All right, Kasia Bodurka with you here. Hi, GTA. We had a nice day yesterday, so Friday, but not so much on Saturday. It got a little bit cooler, but whopping daytime highs close to 10 degrees. Did you enjoy it? I hope you did, because then temperatures fell Saturday through the afternoon. It was around 2 degrees in the city of Toronto, but I don't think the students in Waterloo minded that it was cool because, you know, they had this this event that they have going on every year. They were wearing their hoodies. It was relatively cool. Why? Because, of course, we did have a cold front that came through earlier today. So did you notice it got colder and colder throughout the day? Probably not a cloud in the sky. I can almost guarantee that because we do have high pressure in place, and that means sunny skies for tomorrow. Temperatures not so promising, but at least we have the sunshine. And that next weather maker, that's not going to be in our area until Wednesday, and that's going to be bringing us rain showers, precipitation in the form of rain, and that means temperatures are going to be above the freezing mark. So that's great news, a warm up ahead. I want you to stay with us because we have got the most intense weather from around the world, Force of Nature extended.
You're watching Canada's